And I wanted to tell you that the Drawing Board Podcast is a powerful, thought-provoking podcast that challenges the listener to examine their life and to reimagine the possibilities. Tonight on the show, it's me. Hey, I'm getting a chance. We're going to talk about 39 days away. Can you believe it, Kate? The experience, the actual conference is only 39 days away.
It's going to go so quick.
You
have
telling
so
you.
much work to do, Andre.
Oh, man, listen. So we're excited. It's kind of like you've jumped off into the deep end, so you're either going to sink or swim. But we're swimming through this experience, and this is my inaugural conference, so I've been helping a lot of people with different conferences or helping them plan different events and things like that. But this is our first conference. My wife is serving also as a host, so we are doing this thing together, which is an awesome thing. Well, I'm talking about my wife, and to all of the mothers, I know we just celebrated Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers or mother figures or people that play any type of mothering role where you nourish and nurture, support, take care of, love, and extend all type of grace for kids' development, growth, and really just to validate that their voice has meaning. So happy Mother's Day to you all. Happy Mother's Day to my wife. And on the 28th of this month, Kate, do you know I will be celebrating 15 years of marital bliss?
Oh.
I know. 15 years. We've been together almost 17 years, and we'll be married 15 years on the 28th. So that is a great time we're going to experience.
So your relationship's almost ready to graduate high school.
Oh, I'm telling you, listen, hey, we have our learner's permit. We're driving, and we'll have our license next year. So I'm excited about what God is doing in my life and in my marriage, and my wife and I partnering up to go ahead and get the conference going. So with the conference, it's going to be at Martin Luther King Jr. Senior High School, and the address is 3200 East Lafayette, Detroit, Michigan, 48207. If you want to register for the conference, you can go on Eventbrite right now. The conference page is set up already. You can either have general seating at $10, preferred seating at $15, and VIP seating at $20. We already have a lot of people registering for the conference. Seats are going fast. I was just talking to my brother Antoine Jackson and getting some creative ideas about how to make sure people are getting the information in ways that are palatable to them. And I wanted to tell you that if you are looking to sponsor, become a sponsor for the conference, or if you're looking to be a vendor at the conference, those opportunities exist as well. Right now, we have 3 levels of sponsorship. $50 sponsorship will get you a mention on Podcast Detroit, which is also the Drawing Board Podcast, and we're plugged in and on SoundCloud and iTunes, and just learn that we are going to be on Spotify, and we're just continually increasing and expanding our reach, as well as you'll get a mention on Instagram and Facebook. If you're looking for the $100 sponsorship, that's going to get you 2 tickets and an event T-shirt, as well as all of the prior things that I mentioned, where you'll end up having your logo on the final flyer that will go out within the next 9 days. And then you'll also get the honorable mention at the actual conference. So I'll call you out and I'll say, we'd like to thank the sponsorship of, I'll put her out here because I love her. She was my mom at Tri-State University, which is now Trine University. Deb McHenry, over student retention and doing all those also awesome things at Trine. She was one of the sponsors, and so she was a $100 sponsor. So shout out to Deb. Appreciate you. And then we have $200 sponsorship, which will allow 8 children to come completely free. So you'll get 8 general admission tickets, and you'll get 2 VIP tickets along with an event T-shirt. So if you sold $200, you'll allow 8 kids to come for free. You'll get 2 VIP tickets, and you'll also be able to get an event T-shirt. I'm getting the event T-shirts. They're actually in process now. So it's going to be the drawing board logo on top of a very nice shirt. It's going to be great. So it'll be a 50-50 blend shirt, so it'll feel real good against the skin. and the texture of that material washes well, so you don't have to worry about it. It's a quality product. We'll have opportunities there where we'll have a step and repeat, so you can take photos. Your phones will be able to be in there. Of course, I want as many people going live on Facebook and Instagram as possible. And hey, I see people clicking into Instagram. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. One of my friends way back when I worked for the state of Michigan. How are you? Okay, I'll wait for the response. But the way that works is the sponsorship, man, it has been awesome. We've been able to extend now close to 50 tickets for free to deserving youth, and we want to give them an opportunity to have some entertainment. We want to also give them an opportunity to get some quality information so that they can make some very, very sound decisions as it relates to their present and their future. So I believe wholeheartedly that our greatest investment as it pertains to creating a better future is to invest in our youth. And so this is targeted toward youth and youth leaders. Now, who is that, you ask? That is anybody touching leadership roles as it relates to youth. So that would be to all of my fellow deans of Detroit Public Schools Community District. That would be to student behavioral specialists. Shout out to 3 special schools or 3 districts or companies that I love because I've worked for them. Cornerstone Schools, personal invitation from me to you all, principals, teachers, directors of admission, people on the development side. We want everybody to come out to the drawing board experience. And then at McDowell Preparatory Academy, where they have their great leader over there, Mrs. Johnson, who's doing awesome things over there at McDowell Prep, and Mrs. Proud, who is the 6'8" Dean of Instruction over there, doing some really great things. DeAndre Morris, who's over there handling the cultural component. I cannot forget Miss Thomas. Miss Thomas, who's running things in the office. I love you guys. Really appreciated the experience over at McDowell and loved everything about being able to serve the youth over there. So, and personal invitation to you all. And then now to my current position where I serve as the Dean of Culture and Climate at Detroit Public Schools Community District. Hey, a side note here. I was honored to be able to be nominated, and I went to the event last week. If you follow me on Instagram, you got a chance to see some of the videos or Facebook. But I was nominated as the Dean of Culture for the year for DPSCD. Out of 110 or 106 people, there were 5 finalists, and I was able to be one of the finalists. Unfortunately, I did not take the dub, but I did get a golden apple, so that worked well. And to my fellow brothers who were there, who were honored, and among the 5 finalists, continue to do great work. To that whole pool of people that are empowering children and families on a daily basis, attacking that social emotional component, providing structure through positive behavior interventions and supports, employing restorative practices to create and cultivate healthy relationships. I want to encourage you all, but I also want you to come out to the Drawing Board Conference, because I believe that if you come and you get these tools that will prepare you for like self-care through health and nutrition, that will give you some innovative and creative ideas to challenge the normative ways of engaging youth, being and understanding that they do not have to abandon their personal culture, or that there doesn't have to be a cultural cleansing in order for them to be successful in this in the corporate or greater world, that they don't have to leave who they are at the door, but you can incorporate a culturally relevant pedagogy or a reality based pedagogy that employs where they are and what they're doing now to move them forward. So yeah, that was a whole lot of technical things to say that kids don't have to abandon who they are to learn the content that you're producing, and you have to create an environment for them that is conducive for learning. All of our children can learn. They have enormous potential. It is just that we have to have the proper method in order to introduce the information in a way that is palatable to them. So all of that to say, you need to be here at the conference. You'll hear a lot of those things. We have, and I'll dive into it now. What's going on, Stormy? I'm seeing all of my people from when I worked at the state. What's going on? Here's the thing. Lisa A. Smith with the Black Health Academy and Professionally Fit. She will be there talking about health and nutrition. And you saw her on the podcast. She came on the show. And my favorite portion, two things that she said that really stuck with me. I was going through, at that time, we were fasting at my church. So, you detox a lot when you fast. And so she said, Ebron, you cannot detox to retox. Well, unfortunately, I did. I retoxed, so I got to go through another cleansing. So I'll start working on that. But Lisa does great work. And she's out there, as she would say, slanging those plants, making sure people are living their best lives. And she always encourages you. She said, you may think that you're sharp and you're operating at your peak potential, but there's so much more that you could be doing if you had your health and wellness on track and on point. And she always encourages us to do that through a plant-based diet. She does share that it is a process to get there. And first thing that she encouraged me to do was get rid of the soda. I'm working on it a little bit. So, yeah, I got to get that down packed. But Lisa's doing really, really great things. LisaAngelsmith.com is where you can find her. But she will be first up to bat. She has a great message. The theme of the entire conference is everything's on go. So if you were waiting for your dreams to come to pass, to start that business, to start your weight loss or health and nutrition goals, if you're waiting to start your podcast or write your book, if you're waiting to get into that serious relationship, it is a lot of self-promoting self-care, self-love, and also being brave enough to challenge your thought process, to break those cyclical patterns that have led you to this point, or to really just take your game to the next level by putting yourself in an environment with, next level thinkers or high performance professionals who are doing it at the optimal level and gleaning from the wisdom that they will share. So Lisa's doing great things with health and nutrition. So we're starting the day off with that. All of the other things, are extremely important. But if you don't get your health and nutrition on track, then all of those other things will be cumbersome and a burden because you're weighted down by sickness, illness, and or disease. And another thing that Lisa says is she says the absence of disease is not the presence of health. And so just because you don't have sugar diabetes, just because you don't have high blood pressure, just because you aren't anemic, just because I'm guilty of this, I have to be honest. When I go for my annual checkup and all of my labs come back in the clear, I say, whew, okay, good, I'm good. But just because all the labs come back clear and just because, there's nothing negative happening to me at the moment does not mean that I am healthy. And so I understand that, I acknowledge that, and I think that's one of the things that we have to examine. Like, just because you aren't sick doesn't mean that you are well. And Lisa's going to break that down for us. So the next person that I have who's going to bless us that day is Randy Rosario. Let me pause before I go into all of the awesome things that she does and say, well, congratulations, because she's no longer Randy Rosario, but she's Randy Maples because she was recently married here. So, congratulations to both you and JT. Wish nothing but God's blessings on your union. When that two become one, you guys were already operating at a high level, making business deals, uniting, making it happen. But when that two becomes one, man, that power of agreement says anything you touch, it shall be done of the Father, which is in heaven. So, that's dope. I'm so excited for you both and can't wait to that day. Randy, if you have not seen her videos, man, they are extremely inspirational. She'll have you cracking up laughing in the morning, but she'll be bringing profound truths and also the mantra for the day. So you'll be able to get your affirmation for the day. That's what it is. So your affirmation for that day, and she always has, she going to call you cousin because she knows that everybody's interconnected and related to a common purpose and a common goal. And if you're willing to get on track and leave those past negative thoughts, or as she would say, that musty energy You got to leave that musty energy at the door because your vibes and however it is that you're choosing to express yourself for that day, that is literally attracting to you who you are. And if you are the person, my pastor calls it stinking thinking, or if you're the person with that musty energy, get yourself together. Come on down to the drawing board experience and be in an environment with people who they speak in the language of possibility, not the language of limitation. So Randy's going to light the stage up. I'm so excited to see how she's going to present. And it'll be my first time getting a chance to see her like go forth on stage. So I'm excited as a host as well as a participant. Like, yo, man, what is she going to do? Because she is so engaging on her morning motivation, the videos that she provides. And then my guy, Eric Stefan Thomas. Eric Thomas is who's the senior partner at Saga Marketing. And before I jump into what Eric does, let me go back and let you know that Randy is the founder of Oso Radio. And so she has her own radio station for those who are looking to potentially start a podcast there. I'm at Podcast Detroit. Oso Radio is killing it. I mean, 24 hours where you can get that inspiration, motivation, music, all different type of genres of music, all different type of, it's excellent. All different types of content people are coming on and sharing, and I love it. So I just love when people express their creativity. To me, when I see people go forth at an optimal level, I feel like I get a chance to see them like tapping into what God gave them and bringing to pass their purpose, which glorifies God. So I think that's really dope, and let's make sure that we support. And she's written a book called Good Day Goals. Now, a lot of you all have dreams. You have aspirations. You talk a lot about it, but you have not put a date on it. So a goal is just a dream with a date. Make sure you have a date on it. You need to remember this date, June 22nd. All right? So June 22nd, we'll be at the Drawing Board Experience to supply you sufficient motivation to go and take over the world. So Eric S. Thomas, the senior partner at Saga Marketing, he is a creative to his heart. He loves all things art and media. He is a writer. I know he's working on a book. He has several blog posts. He helped and expressed the redesign of the Steve Harvey blooper of Miss Universe, I believe, or was it Miss America? I may be having a blooper right now. But either way it goes, he helped with the redesign to show how the design of that card was actually set up for failure. So he did a lot of great things there. He also wrote the article Why I Hate Detroit and expressed about the reason why he hates Detroit is all the reasons why he loves Detroit. And I've seen him get into like the grassroots efforts of turning this city around. Eric is everywhere, speaking at MIT, speaking at different digital conferences, speaking at different colleges and universities. And he expresses his opinion so eloquently, and it challenges people to go beyond the status quo. It challenges people to come out of their comfort zones. It also provokes people and provokes them not just in word but in action. And I love that because we won't see great innovation until we see a great degree of provocation beyond the status quo. So, yeah, he might get under some people's skin. I enjoy that because it challenges you to think beyond your own socioeconomic realm. It challenges you to think beyond your own upbringings, and it challenges you to realize that you have your own set of biases and opinions that may be influencing how you interact and engage with the world. And if you don't like the result that you're getting, it could be not that the world is acting negatively upon you, but how you are engaging the world from your position. So, yeah, he's going to bring some things that I know is definitely going to challenge you to examine your life and to reimagine the possibilities. Now, my friend Ashley Chesney, she will be there. She has founded this great 501c3 nonprofit organization called Genius Patch. focusing on literacy and also innovating the way that we are teaching our children how to learn. Ashley Chesney was definitely, really shaking the world with, and I mean literally the world, because she just came back from Ghana where she was she's a children's author, just completed her first nonfiction book. And so I look forward to reading that. But I will say that Ashley Chesney is a person who is going to do everything she can to express the greatness in each child. I mean, I have seen it with my own eyes. She's come to Dawson Elementary Middle School, where I am the dean, and I've seen the kids just light up, and they sat there and they got a chance to, she has a junior storytellers program where she has children begin to write their own books based upon their own narrative of some of the things that children are experiencing and going through. I think the narrative that she helped them build out at my school was about bullying. And when we talked about bullying, the kids were able to create an entire story because they are so creative, or they were just expressing their own experiences, and they began to craft a story that other people could relate to. And that's all that, great content, that's what it is. It stems from a very authentic place. You're able to organize your thoughts, your opinions, your ideas in a succinct way that other people can read and relate to. And then you've written a book. So Ashley is going to rip the stage. And then in his own way, my main man, who always called me big guy, when I called him, he said, "Hey, big guy," or I had him on the show as well, Mr. Harlan J. Bivens, better known as Jay. He has a business called Jay's Fades, and he's definitely helping people to actualize their potential by first getting their appearance together. And then, once you look good, you feel good. Once you feel good, you're able to do good. And once you're doing good and you realize that you're hitting those milestones of success, you're able to tackle some very challenging areas of your life that have either gone compartmentalized because you weren't really ready to, dive into those painful places. But in those painful places are some of the greatest wealth, like some of the greatest experiences, some of the greatest wisdom will come from your most painful places. My goddad, he would always say it like this: there's pain, passion, and purpose. You get those alliterations when you're preaching. And so pain, passion, and purpose. From your pain, you will develop a passion, that thing that gets you fired up, that thing that, gets you, that you get most angry about is generally the problem that you were created to solve. But it's also in an area where you at one time may have been victimized. So when you talk about social justice reform, or being able to protect and serve youth, or being able to, articulate your voice in places that minorities may not have a voice. Like, these are areas that a lot of times people have been either a victim initially, but then from that pain that was produced, or they had a negative experience, it produced a passion, a fire, a resiliency, a fight within them that cannot be quenched except by living out their day on purpose every day, tackling that issue. So pain, passion, and then purpose. Purpose is the reason for, it is the why, it is the what, it defines the who. And so I'm looking forward to seeing Jay come forth. One of the things that I learned from Jay when he was on the show is we were talking about wealth and poverty. And he said, poverty is a conversation. And likewise, wealth is also a conversation. You just have to choose what conversation it is that you want to be a part of. Attacking it from the perspective that poverty is not just a social condition or a social construct based upon some environmental conditions. Rather, it is a mentality that comes from all systemic, it is a system of thinking that was designed to enslave a people. And that enslavement produced these environmental conditions, and there is a whole social strategy around keeping certain demographics of people in that thought pattern. And then wealth is produced upon a mentality as well, an abundant mentality that says that you'll have what you need. And so that creativity emanates from you, and you're able to innovate and to have access to resources, and whatever it is that you need, if you don't have it, you can create it. And so it is a mentality that thereby creates an environment. And an environment then begins to get on a social shaping that draws resource. So that's why a lot of people go seeking resources when first you must realize that you have something of value to add, and the resource that you need is attracted to the value that you present. So Harlan is going to be there. Jay's going to be there. And man, all the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana, like this is going to be, for me, one of my greatest treats of the actual conference. My man Theo Smith III, better known as Fresh Laundry. He is an artiste. I like to say he is a virtuoso. You can follow him, Fresh Laundry, or That Laundry on Instagram. And man, he's doing a lot of great things. You may have saw his Nipsey Hussle piece, his Jay-Z piece. He did the Kanye West piece that was actually seen when Kanye went. It was on Kanye's phone when he went to the White House to visit President Trump. You may seen how Universal Studios sent a comment because of his artwork when he recreated the Us picture. You may have seen that Spike Lee has some of his artwork hanging in his home. You may have seen Super Scent also has some of his artwork hanging in her home. And so he is the celebrity's artist. But I saw on his Facebook the other day, he said something that I thought was really profound. And you have to take it to whatever your medium of expression is. If it's me and like the vocal giftings and the mental giftings that God has given me to express and to encourage and to inspire and to motivate, and then that's my art. And then if some people like Theo, who he uses different canvases and mediums of art, whether it's sketching, painting, whether one time he took an old cassette tape and he made Biggie Smalls' face out of the actual tape inside of the cassette tape. Dope. I mean, just a super dope artist who does that. And he said, you have to paint your way out. And for you all, if you're a writer, you may have to write your way out. If you are a sower or a giver, if you have the anointing to give or the empowerment to give, then you may have to give your way out. If you are a singer and that there's power in your voice, you may have to sing your way out. If you are a thinker, someone who has been gifted to come up with strategies and plans and help other people, come up with a stratagem or an art of war in this game of life or whatever game it is that you're playing, like you may have to think your way out. For most people, no matter what the medium is, you have to love your way out. Because if you don't love who you are or what it is that you do, then it becomes a burden and not a blessing. And there's a difference between like the challenge stretching you to grow and the challenge that is oppressing you. And so it's a matter of perspective, because the challenge that shows up to help you grow will always amplify that gifting, because the challenge is there not to harm you personally, but is to expose that gift, is to stretch you and to pull you into a revelation of the capacity that you have to express God's goodness on the earth. So, yeah, there's a difference. But anyway, he had on there, paint your way out. So I'm looking forward to him coming. He's going to do a live painting on stage. I'm looking forward to every word being able to go into that canvas. I'm going to be able to hang That Laundry in my home as not a memory, not just a memorial, but kind of living piece of artwork that expresses to me all of the work, the diligence that it took for this inaugural conference to kick off, and it will always be there to encourage me. So you asked me the time of the conference. It's going to be from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. It's late enough for you to go ahead and catch breakfast and early enough for you to still catch lunch. Now, here's the one thing. Watch this. I just added another guest to the drawing board experience. I know you're probably waiting with bated breath trying to figure out who I've added, and this is who I've added to the conference. He's going to do an actual, step to you sweat. I had him on the show, Mr. Shane Fitness 101. He's going to be in the house. Shane is going to be in the house. He's going to do a set on stage. You know that he has different classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays out in Ypsilanti, Michigan. And, man, he's doing a lot of awesome things. He has a DVD out. He has an app that's in all of the app stores, whether you're Apple or Android. You can go on and get his app. And so I encourage everybody to do that now. But he is actually going to be in the building. And he's going to do it. Matter of fact, if you keep watching out, after this, I'm going to post one of his videos to my Instagram and to my Facebook. But I'm excited to have him on the show. I'm going to have a daddy moment here. My son is going to be introducing me when I come up to speak, which is huge for me. So, man, I'm just looking forward to my son being able to be a part of the conference and, introduce me before I come out to speak that day. My wife will be standing together to present as host and hostess, and or just host. And my daughter is going to be the opening act, and she's going to open by playing her violin. She's in orchestra, and she sits, the different chair positions. She sits toward the front. I know you were like, you don't know the chair position. No, I don't know the chair position, but I do know that we have been investing in her art as a musician. She writes songs, and we're going to get her into like producing and doing some other things. So here's the call to action. If you would like to be a sponsor of this event, I've broke it down to you. The Drawing Board Experience. It's a powerful, thought-provoking conference that's going to challenge the listener, the attendees, the participants of the conference to examine their life. Like, you can only grow from where you are. You have to be honest about where you are, and that's not a bad thing. It is just a real thing. Be honest about where you are. Take an inventory of all your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and those things that may try to thwart your progress or the threats. And then assess what do you need to do to move forward. Like, reimagine the possibilities. Don't allow like the life's pain and the struggle and the strain, stress, struggle, strain. Don't allow those things to rob you of your imagination. Like when I was going through what I was going through, I thought about this conference. Here's a short testimony. Over this school year, it's been extremely challenging in some ways because personally, my family, we lost two of the main men patriarchs of my family. On my wife's side, her grandfather passed, and then 2 months later, her dad passed. And so these are some things that we are still processing through, but you have to take all of those life lessons, all of that wisdom, all of that, and it hurts, all of that emotional hurt and pain, and you have to channel it to something positive. You have to use that. Yeah, you be honest about what you feel. Begin to articulate, man, today was a challenging day. But what you have to do is process through it. Because whoever I'm talking to right now, you're either going into a challenge, you're in the middle of a challenge, or you're coming out of a challenge. And the best thing that you can do is find a safe place to be able to articulate those negative feelings that you have. And then after you've been able to express that, get rid of it, and then take all of that energy and move forward. Take all of that pain, repurpose that pain. My pastor, Dr. Carol Lee Dixon, will say this: you have to make your pain preach. Some of my greatest messages, some of me coming on the podcast, me writing the book, me being able to encourage students on a daily basis. The wisdom that I provide, those nuggets in the short time that I'm talking to you all or the short time that I'm talking to a student, man, sometimes have come from a very painful place, an arduous, long struggle. Sometimes it's been months. Other times it's been years. but you get all of that wisdom in one nugget of expression. And so that's what you're going to get here at the Drawing Board Experience. You're going to get tons of wisdom, actionable knowledge. That's what I love. I like to say that wisdom is actionable knowledge. You can take it and apply it to your life and see results. Like, that's what I present people who have proof positive in their life, results of wisdom applied. I would not put before you any people that I don't highly respect and that I have not seen the work that they've done. So these are people who are shaking and moving, people who are inspiring and motivating. And so I challenge everybody to go right now to the Eventbrite website, type in the Drawing Board Experience, and for $10, you get access to all of this information. You get access to Lisa, to Randy, to Eric, to Ashley, to Jay, to Theopolis with Fresh Laundry. You get access to Shane. You get access to Ebron and Associates. And we are a consulting firm. We consult, develop, and support personal, professional, and organizational transformation. And you get access to all of that for general seating for $10. Man, I should have said for only $9.99. No, I'm joking. But for $10. And if you want to be up close and personal, for $20, you could be right by the stage and get a chance to experience that up close and personal. So tonight, I'm going to cut it a little short. We would normally have that entire hour. Yeah, I know. Tonight's date night for me. So I'm getting ready to go on a date. I think we might go see Intruder tonight. Yeah, that sounds good, Kate, doesn't it? Going to see Intruder? Yeah. But I do want to say that you should be in the place. And if you'd like to figure out what the impetus of all of this conference was, you can go right now to Amazon and you can look up The Drawing Board, which is my book. So, and it's a powerful, thought-provoking testimonial that challenges the reader to examine their life and to reimagine their possibilities. And then the podcast is there to do what? To challenge the listener to examine their life, reimagine the possibilities. The experience is there to challenge the participants, what? To examine their life, say it with me, and do what? And reimagine the possibilities. I am Andre Ebron, the founder and the host of the Drawing Board Podcast. And remember, your future is not behind you. It is not before you. It is within you. Make sure you get it. Go register now. I'm waiting for you. Don't meet me there. Beat me there. All right. God bless.